Hey, Richest you money maniacs, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about Olaf from Frozen. Yeah, pretty weird, right? Let's get to it.
That's normal.
Hey, Richest you money maniacs, welcome back. Tom coming at you. In this video, I want to talk about Olaf from Frozen. And you may be thinking, Olaf, what does Olaf have to do with money at all? Well, when I was watching that movie and the video came, or the song came on, that he starts singing in the second Frozen about,
This will all make sense when I am older.
Not only is that a great tune, but it actually applies to what's occurring right now in the economics and in the world in terms of finance, what's happening. A lot of folks have pointed the finger at the current health challenge as to why the economy has collapsed. When actually, if you really do your homework, the economy has been collapsing since before 2008. In fact, you could even say the economy has been slowly eating itself into hyperinflation and the death of our currency since the Federal Reserve was instituted. But that would take a lot more videos and a lot more explanation for you to understand that. But Olaf singing that so innocently, this will all make sense when I am older, is exactly how I am beginning to believe that a lot of people are thinking concerning what's occurring in the world right now, politically, economically, and financially. None of it makes sense because not many of them have actually gone and done the homework to understand exactly what's occurring. Now, that's not everybody, but there is a large percentage of people who, if you start to talk about finance at all, the stock market or government policy or, fiscal responsibility, you say words like that, they start thinking about accounting, they start thinking about math, they start thinking about school. Their eyes completely glaze over and roll back in their head, and they start drooling out one side of their mouth unless they're balanced, and then they go out both sides. The idea here is that this should be the most vital conversation you ever have in your life, because everything you do in your life involves money. Every decision you've made throughout your life has included some kind of value exchange, and that is money. It doesn't always involve currency, but it is always a form of money. Even if you're trading baseball cards, that's a money exchange, an exchange of value. The cards have just become the currency. So the idea here is this should be very compelling to you and very exciting to hear about, simply because it is exactly what determines whether you are successful, wealthy, happy, or poor, broke, and miserable. Money is what decides that. Now, a lot of people say, well, money can't buy happiness, and that is absolutely true. Money only magnifies what your personality is. If you're a miserable person, you can be a really miserable person with lots of money, okay? Or if you're a happy person or optimist, you'll be really optimistic with lots of money. It just amplifies who you are already. If you're a good person, you'll do a lot of good things and you'll help a lot of people. If you're a bad person, you'll use that money and you'll probably invade some country and cause some kind of genocide. It just is simply a magnifier of their personality, of their character. So, that being the case, wouldn't it be nice to have lots of currency or lots of money to be able to decide what kind of person you want to be? If you're not feeling so good because you're depressed, maybe you lost a loved one in your life, maybe someone passed away, but if you have lots of money, it's a lot easier to take time off and travel to see the rest of your friends and the rest of your family while they're still alive, and to go on vacations and feel better about life, even though now you've lost this loved one and you can't see them. See, that's one of the biggest challenges about losing a loved one nowadays. You lose someone, right? And the biggest thing is that you never get to see them again. but you barely ever saw them while they were alive, unless you're a grown adult and you're still living with your parents, and then you just resent them every day. See, that's the thing. When you have money, you have freedom and opportunity. When you don't, you are stuck. You are stuck daily going and doing something that you don't want to because you must make more currency to pay your bills because it costs money to be alive. You need food, you need shelter, you need clothing, all those things. Now, there are a lot of folks who'd say, well, the government's sending me money now. I could just live off of that, and it's actually more than I was making before. I guarantee you that is going to dry up. Don't get comfortable. So all these things that are occurring, all these moving pieces in finance, in industry, in economics, in politics, and none of it makes sense. And so a lot of people are running around going, this will all make sense when I am older.
That's normal.
I'm just not going to think about that because I'd rather just watch TV and eat my pizza, drink my beer, stay at home, and I can't even go out to go dancing, so I'll just dance here in my house, and I've got free money anyway. That is all going to come to a screeching halt, and one way or another, you will be educated simply because nature doesn't care. You are going to learn that what happens when you just let everybody else take care of and you don't think about it and you don't grow and you don't expand. However, folks that watch these videos, I believe firmly, are not that kind of thinking. They are trying to figure out, you are trying to figure out, what do I do next? So, now that you know that this is how most of the world thinks, you can think of ways to be able to leverage that and start a business or build a product that helps them to understand or helps them to protect themselves. I buy silver, I buy gold, I buy real estate, not right now, only because everything's hyperinflated, but I will as soon as the prices go down. I use wealth cycles, I study Robert Kiyosaki, I study Tom Wheelwright, I study Doug Andrew. Anybody I think is reputable that has quantifiable results, Dan Pena, a great example, really powerful guy with real results. Those are the kind of people that I like to study, that I like to listen to. So instead of waiting till you're older to try and understand what's actually happening, continue with your education, continue with your Richest You education, continue with all of the names that I've just mentioned, and really get a grasp of what's occurring in the world. Don't be an Olaf. So here is why it's important you don't wait until you're older. Because by then, if you don't position yourself appropriately to be protected from the terrible things that are coming financially, economically, politically, emotionally, then you may find yourself stuck in a situation that is nearly impossible to get out of. Now, I phrased it that way on purpose. Nearly impossible. It does not mean it's impossible to get out of, and there have been many people throughout history who've gotten out of worse and done very, very well for themselves. My point is that it's not necessary to suffer through that financial poverty, that poor health, because when you're poor, you can't afford to eat right and you get sick more often. You can't go to the doctor. You can't afford it. You have to just weather it. Or the emotional strain. I mean, people are already committing suicide and all kinds of other challenges, domestic violence and abuse of all kinds of forms of abuse. This has been an extraordinary event on the entire planet. And so I would encourage you, instead of waiting like Olaf till you're older for it to make sense, to continue your path of education on how money works, on how economics works, on understanding what these elected officials are actually saying, on digging deeper to find the truth about how things are actually working, especially money, not currency, money, the real value exchange. Look into all of the different things that I've mentioned before to be able to protect yourself financially. Precious metals, a laser fund from Doug Andrew and liveabundant.com. Look into Tom Wheelwright. Maybe you don't have to pay as much taxes as you have been. If you speak with Tom Wheelwright or even just read his books or listen to his podcasts, He'll probably explain exactly how to reduce your exposure to those kinds of expenses. And someone like Robert Kiyosaki, who will be able to explain to you how money actually works in a much simpler term, and so that you can digest it and then go take action. That's the significant difference. Don't be like Olaf and wait till you're older. Do it now so that it's not too late. This economic recovery that we're going to go into is going to be long, slow, and painful, because the economic indicators for the past 20 years or more have been completely overinflated. We have been completely misled on how the economy is doing, especially since 2008. There has been a bold-faced misrepresentation of exactly what's occurring in the financial markets. Someone like Tom Maloney can help explain it. Make sure you check out his videos, The Hidden Secrets of Money, and all of his videos and all of his books. That man has a heart the size of a lion, because he spends all of his days looking up the proper information and trying to explain it. And here's why. Because like me, he believes that the more people who are wealthy, educated, and successful, the better, because then elected officials can't abuse the privilege of leading that we've given them. Remember, we give them that authority. They are elected by us, and the law comes from the people in the United States. So that is exactly why I thought it so appropriate to do a video about Olaf. As cute as he is, and as wonderful as that song is, the point is extremely valuable and poignant right now. Take action now. Don't be Olaf. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you got value out of it. Please give a thumbs up if you did. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.